Part 2 of section 5.3, adding and subtracting polynomials. We did adding in the first part, now we're going to talk about subtracting. All right, to subtract polynomials, you're going to change all of the signs in the second polynomial and then add, which is combining like terms, okay? When a problem is written horizontally like this one, we're doing exactly the same thing we've been doing all along. We have said that there is a -1 right here, and we have to distribute the -1. Okay, now look what happens when we do that. The first one stays the same. We get 2d plus 7, and then we get minus 3d plus 1, which means if you look at it, we changed the sign on every term in the second polynomial. We're distributing a 1. Okay, now we're going to combine these. I have 2d minus 3d, which is going to give me a -1, which we don't normally write, d. And then we have 7 plus 1, so plus 8. -d plus 8 would be this, your answer here. Okay, so this one, we had exponents of 1 on our variables, so this is exactly what we've been doing all along. Here's where we expand it a little bit and we start dealing with other exponents. We are subtracting, which means we are taking that understood -1 there and we are distributing, or you can think of it as changing every sign in the second polynomial. And when we do that, we get x to the 4th minus 2x squared plus 10. And if you want to, I'm going to distribute the -1. I can keep writing horizontally, or I can line up my like terms as I go along. And this is actually very helpful later on. So I have a 4th term here, so when I distribute, I get -3. I'm going to write -3x to the 4th right here. I'm lining up my like terms. Okay? And then -5x squared. I really am double checking my exponents as we go along. And then -1 times 5 is going to be a +5. Okay, now we've dealt with the subtraction by changing every sign in the second polynomial. -3, -5, +5. And now we add these together. 1x to the 4th minus 3x to the 4th is going to be -2x to the 4th. -2 minus 5 is going to be -7x squared plus 15. Okay, now one of the reasons I went ahead and wrote it vertically, besides the fact that it's often nice and easy to do that, is because when you have a vertical subtraction problem, it's going to look a lot like this. Now, vertical subtraction problems happen within division problems, which we're going to learn in a section later. And they're going to be written like this, so it really is important that we learn how to deal with this. All we do is we're going to change every sign in our second polynomial, okay? So it's now a -3. I strongly suggest that when you have a negative, you don't just do this, because it's very easy later to read it as a plus. You're going to read it like it started off as a plus instead of a minus. And then if you made a mistake and you go back to check your work, you're going to get totally confused. So I strongly suggest you write the plus sign above it instead of changing a minus into a plus, and then a minus here. Okay, now we combine them. I have -4 minus 3, so that is -7z squared. And then I have +2 plus 5, which is plus 7z. And then I have -1 minus 2, which will be -3. And that will be my answer.